Welcome to Preemptive Action Media. Before we go to the topic that we're going to be discussing today, let's remember that today we celebrate the memorial ceremonies of the 9/11 attack in New York, in which many people were killed, over 3,000 people. Not only that, but first responders that were there in the scene trying to rescue the people that they thought that may be able to rescue also were killed. So today we celebrate that as to remember all the victims of 9/11 in that regard. And there are some activities taking place in New York in regard to that 18 years ago. The main purpose of this podcast today is to mention that a couple of days ago, actually 4 days ago, there was an incident in Afghanistan in which the Taliban, a suicide bomber, killed an American soldier and an Iranian soldier. And they were operating there under United Nations resolution. Did this bring the number of American troops by hostile enemies higher in this year? The problem is that this suicide bomber not only was killed just recently, but also the fact that jeopardized the secret negotiations, if we can say that, between the president and the leadership of the Taliban. Okay, maybe you don't know about this. There was a secret meeting that was supposed to be taking place at Camp David, which is the retreat that all the presidents do have. And in Camp David, they were planning to settle the foundation for the Taliban to stop attacking not only American soldiers, but also to find out a way in which they can comply with the United Nations resolutions to avoid that they will disrupt the present government of Afghanistan. So it's not only not attacking us over there, but also that they will respect the government that is right there in place. And the latest information we have is that the former National Security Advisor leaked the information of the Camp David negotiations to the press, maybe to create problems to the president, but Mr. Bolton, the former National Security Advisor, had been dismissed by the president. This is very important because the soldier that was killed, I'm trying to see if I can remember the name of the soldier, was Sergeant First Class Barreto, I believe is the name. The soldier was over there with other United Nations forces, and the killing of this American soldier, actually from Puerto Rico, triggered not obsession, I shouldn't not say that word, anger from the president, and justified anger. Because what happened is that the Taliban apparently thought that by doing this killing and this attack with the suicide bomber in this military base or compound, that they will have more leverage to be able to sit down with the president and start negotiations with, more leverage, I will say, more grounds. They thought that they will be gaining more points. But it backfired because instead of having more points, the president just dismissed the negotiations that were supposed to be taking place at Camp David retreat. Another thing and this is about that happened a few days ago. Another issue that I want to address to you is that in this week, today's Wednesday before Friday, I'm going to be completing. We had some technical difficulties, but this is another podcast I will present to you about political polarization. For those that have no idea or heard or have slight information of what political polarization is, it's referring to the divergence of political attitudes to ideological extremes. Almost all discussions of political polarization in political science consider polarization in the context of political parties and democratic system of government. But political polarization is even more than that. Not only in the perspective of political party, it can come financial, it could be social, it could be geographical. Polarization can combine multifactorial elements and engage in that kind of vortex in which the people get out of the center, start going to the extreme, whether it's right or left, north or south, but then these vortexes start growing until they clash. That happened in 1961 with the Civil War. This is not only exclusive to the United States, but our concern is our country. It's happening in France, in Germany, it's happening in Belgium, in Italy, in other European countries. It's a form of resistance to this globalization because the people are tired that they have been in their shoulders taking the price in taxes for the globalization. So the rich countries have to take the burden of the poor countries in the European community. And this situation and the debt that is growing, the bubble of debt in the banking institution, internationally speaking, is affecting everybody. That's why several months ago, you must remember that there was a lot of riots in Paris about these yellow vests, people opposing to Macron, president of France. Why? Because they are not happy about the policies that he was trying to impose. Instead of helping the people, he was hurting more the people than ever. Everything was going fine for the opposition and the people who were doing the protest until the church was set on fire in Paris. It's not a church, it's a bigger type, I forgot the concept, cathedral. The point is that I'm not saying that it was intentionally, I don't have any evidence or idea, but it's a coincidence that at the moment you have the church set on fire, the cathedral, Notre Dame, in fire, days later the people start going down. And then Macron start having again control upon the French society and community. I will bring more information when I complete the report and the investigation that I've been doing pertaining to political polarization. But this is nothing new, but that doesn't mean it's good. Political polarization in the United States could brought us again to another civil war, or the second United States Civil War. And that is what we have to avoid. And I hope the people that listen to this podcast take this seriously in the same way I'm taking this seriously, and help me out to diffuse the information about the importance of diffuse the political polarization in the United States. Thank you and God bless.